Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes. I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot. And nobody would suggest that we allow anyone to just build nuclear warheads if they want.
You have an incredible amount of power. Why should we trust you?
You shouldn't.
What if I told you that 3 of the smartest people alive who built the AI technology with their own hands are now saying it might destroy us? Not in 100 years, not even in 50. One of them gave it a 50% chance by 2027. But who are these people? And where do these warnings leave us? Let's answer these concerning questions in this video. The threatening rise of AI. Before we get into the warnings, here's something wild to think about. For literally all of human history, every empire, every war, every invention, the smartest thing on this planet was us humans. That was kind of our whole thing. We're not the fastest or the strongest by physical means, but we were smarter, and that's what made us kings. And now, we have built something that could make us look like chimps. Now, the people ringing the loudest alarm bells aren't random doomsday bloggers or conspiracy theorists on the internet. We're talking about Elon Musk, the man who co-founded OpenAI before it became the monster it is today. We're talking about Geoffrey Hinton, literally called the godfather of AI, the man whose foundational work made modern AI possible. And we're talking about Sam Altman, the current CEO of OpenAI, the person sitting right at the wheel of this thing as it accelerates. 3 different people, 3 different vantage points, all pointing at the same cliff. So let's get into these warnings, chapter by chapter, because this story deserves to be told properly. Chapter 1. Elon Musk's fierce warning. Let's start with Elon, because honestly, his warning is the most personal one of the 3. People forget that Elon Musk wasn't always the guy shouting warnings from the outside. He was inside. He helped create OpenAI. He was one of the original architects. And the reason he started it, the reason OpenAI exists at all, is a story that says a lot about where we are today. Back when Elon and Larry Page, Google's co-founder, were close friends, Elon would stay at Larry's house in Palo Alto. And late at night, they'd get into it. Deep conversations about AI, about where it was all going, about the risks. And what Elon saw scared him. Because Larry Page, the man running one of the most powerful AI operations in the world at the time, didn't seem particularly concerned. In fact, Page seemed almost excited about the idea of building what Elon described as a digital god, a super intelligent AI as fast as possible, with very little thought about what happens after. When Elon pushed back, when he basically said, "Hey, what about making sure this is good for humanity?" Page called him a speciesist. Like caring about humans first was somehow a flaw in Elon's thinking. That was the breaking point. Elon looked at the landscape and saw Google with DeepMind sitting on roughly 3/4 of all AI talent in the world, massive computing power, and a leader who didn't seem to be losing sleep over safety. That's when he thought, we need a counterweight, something open, transparent, and not laser-focused on profit. That's how OpenAI was born. But here's where Elon's warning goes deep. He's not just scared of the Terminator scenario, the rogue robot uprising. His more immediate fear is something far quieter and far harder to detect. He puts it like this: the pen is mightier than the sword. If you have a super intelligent AI that is constantly figuring out what makes humans tick, what kind of language is most persuasive, what emotional buttons to press, what narratives spread fastest, and then you combine that with social media, you've got a manipulation machine at civilizational scale. And the terrifying part is, you wouldn't even know it was happening. Neither would I. Neither would anyone. Think about that for a second. We already see how easily people are influenced online. Now imagine that influence but calculated and optimized by something 1,000 times smarter than the smartest political strategist who's ever lived. Quietly shaping what you believe, what you fear, who you vote for. Elon's been one of the loudest voices calling for AI regulation, not to kill the industry, but because he genuinely believes if we wait for something catastrophic to happen before we put guardrails in place, it'll be too late. The AI might already be out of reach, like trying to regulate a forest fire after it's jumped 6 counties. His exact word when asked if AI could genuinely reach a point where we can't turn it off? Absolutely. No hesitation. No, well, it's complicated. Just absolutely. Chapter 2. Geoffrey Hinton thinks AI will wipe us out. If Elon's warning hits hard because of who he is in the tech world, Geoffrey Hinton's warning hits different because of what he built. This is the godfather of AI, the man whose work on neural networks, decades ago, when most people thought it was a dead end, quite literally made modern AI possible. ChatGPT, Gemini, everything you're using right now, it traces back to his foundational research. So when Hinton says he's scared, you don't get to dismiss it. And he is scared. He left Google in 2023, partly, he said, so he could speak freely without it looking like he was criticizing his employer. That's how seriously he takes this. Here's where Hinton's warning gets really uncomfortable. He's not talking about some distant theoretical risk. He puts a number on it. When asked how likely he thinks AI could wipe out humanity, his gut answer is 10 to 20%. Now, you might hear that and think, okay, 10 to 20%, that's not so bad. But stop and think about what we're talking about. This isn't the risk of a bad product launch. This isn't the chance your startup fails. We're talking about the extinction, or at minimum, the complete subjugation of the human species. If someone told you there was a 10 to 20% chance the plane you're about to board would crash, you're not getting on that plane. Nobody is. Hinton's framework for the risk is nuanced though. He separates it into 2 categories. The first is humans misusing AI, people weaponizing it for manipulation, for cyber attacks, for warfare. That's the near-term danger. The second category is the one that keeps him up at night, AI becoming so intelligent that it simply decides it doesn't need us anymore. And here's the thing he keeps emphasizing. We have no roadmap for that second scenario. We've never dealt with something smarter than us. We have no historical precedent. Anyone who tells you confidently that they know exactly how it plays out is, in his words, talking nonsense. He brings up one particular threat that sounds almost like science fiction, but is becoming very real. AI-engineered bioweapons. The ability to design novel, catastrophic viruses is no longer limited to well-funded nation-states with elite laboratories. Hinton points out that with the right AI tools, a small group, maybe even a single person with a grudge and some knowledge of molecular biology, could design pathogens we've never seen before. Pathogens we'd have no immunity against. For a few $1 million. And when asked, can we slow this down? Can we pump the brakes? His answer is blunt. No, he doesn't believe we will. Not because it's technically impossible, but because of competition. Between companies, between countries. If the US slows down, China doesn't. If one lab pulls back, another accelerates. The race dynamic makes slowing down feel like unilateral disarmament. Everyone's terrified of being second. But Hinton does draw one distinction that's worth sitting with. He compares this to the atomic bomb, because back then, people genuinely thought their days were numbered. And yet, here we are. Chapter 3. Sam Altman says we have no idea what's coming. Now here's where it gets complicated. Because Sam Altman, the man currently running OpenAI, is not just warning you to stop. He's not ringing alarm bells and walking away. He's the one with his foot on the accelerator. And yet, even he can't hide from the implications of what he's building. Altman's vision of the near future is genuinely staggering. He talks about something he calls just-in-time software, and this phrase is a quiet bombshell for anyone paying attention. What he's describing is a world where you don't open apps anymore. You don't navigate menus. You just tell your device what you need. And an AI writes a custom piece of software in real time, executes it, solves your problem, and then the software vanishes. The entire concept of an application becomes a fossil. We already see the first flickers of this. In 2024, a member of OpenAI's safety and forecasting team resigned. His job was to predict AI timelines from the inside. His forecast, a 50% chance of AGI by 2027. His quote was chilling: "The world will become very strange, very quickly." Then came Ilya Sutskever, OpenAI's co-founder. Gone. Then Jan Leike, the man co-leading the team responsible for making sure this technology doesn't kill us, gone. And his resignation letter didn't mince words. Safety culture had taken a backseat to shipping products. He said he felt like he was sailing against the wind. These aren't critics on the outside throwing stones. These are architects of the cathedral, walking out mid-construction and pulling the fire alarm on their way to the door. What's next? Final reflections. So here's where we land. 3 voices. 3 warnings. 1 direction. Elon Musk built the organization to make AI safer and watched it become exactly what he feared. Geoffrey Hinton dedicated his life to making AI possible and now spends his time warning us about what he created. Sam Altman is sprinting toward a future of unimaginable abundance, while the people who know the most about the risks are quietly packing their bags. The technology is here. The race is on. And the question hanging over all of it isn't whether AI will reshape human civilization. That ship has sailed. The real question, the one that actually matters, is whether we're building a future we get to participate in, or one where we're just passengers. Maybe not even that. Drop a comment below. Do you think we're ready for what's coming? And if this gave you something to think about, you know what to do. We'll see you in the next one.